What I want to give you is a formula that I come up with that has absolutely facilitated healing, breakthrough, freedom, broken away fear out of my life, and caused me to really start finding my passion. That's what I want to give to you right now. What I call it is you want to turn fear back into trust. Now think about this for a second. If someone breaks your trust, what the formula is, broken trust equals fear. Fear equals control. And control equals isolation. And isolation equals loneliness, depression, anger, substance abuse, stunted emotional growth, finding the wrong husband or wife because you don't know who you are. You're isolated. Now I'll break it down for you. If someone breaks your trust, let's say you trusted someone and then they told everyone on Facebook what you said, you'd be hurt so bad. And then what happens is there's a real risk here. At that point, that's critical. If you don't know what to do with how powerful forgiveness is and that you don't want them to control your life forever, what's going to happen if you don't choose to forgive is that you may make a vow. You may say, I will never trust that person again. I will never forgive them. And that's like a stake in the sand. It's almost like you put a guard right there. But the problem is fear is tricky because it creates more of an illusion saying, I will never trust women again because she was a woman. I will never trust a man because he did this. And you can imagine all the things in your head. If you stop and think about it for a second, how many times do we say, I will never do this? Or I will. These are things to protect ourselves from sometimes an illusion. It was just one isolated, painful situation. We don't got to paint the whole picture. What happens though is that you now have this wound you're protecting with these vows. And what happens is someone comes alongside and bumps that. It's an open wound. And you say, get out of here. And they're going, whoa, this guy's got some issues. He's defensive or all these different things. It's because he's wounded and he's protecting himself. Now if you get into a marriage and all of a sudden you don't want your wife to leave because someone left you before, you're going to control. Or the other way around, the woman controls a man because she got cheated on once, so now I'm going to just make sure it doesn't happen, but he's totally a good guy. So now it turns to control. Control then gets to isolation. You feel lonely. You can't risk opening up in conversations because you got hurt before. Now you see the pattern as it goes away is that as it goes deeper down, you feel lonely, depressed, and you go through these, it's just like your soul just gets so quiet and you feel dead. But then what happens is the sickness arrives and depression arrives because the safest place you can be is by yourself all the time. Nobody can ever hurt you if you're by yourself. Now if you go backwards, you find out if you have depression or if you got any kind of issues, break it back, it's usually fear. First of all, if you see yourself controlling, find out what you're protecting. Break it back down to saying, what's my vows? Where did I make these protections and are they even real? Start dismantling them and then find forgiveness. And then you may be able to get trust back. You may be able to risk authenticity, which can bring you back to vulnerability, that can bring you back to having trust. Anyways, that's my thought. This has been huge for my life. I went from living on the streets to successful businessman. Huge stories in between. And this has been one of the formulas that has absolutely rocked my world. Thanks, guys.